closely tracking, we're learning that 8 US lawmakers have written to the Indian ambassador in US, pressing New Delhi over the continued detention of activist Umar Khalid, who has spent more than 5 years in jail under UAPA anti-terror charges. Now, the US has now waded into India's internal debate, with the American lawmakers now flagging the arrest of Umar Khalid. But the Congress party back in the country has latched onto this letter that has been written, backing the US lawmakers' push and echoing their demand as far as the bail is concerned. The party has insisted that bail is a rule and not the exception, saying that there is bias against Muslim and Dalits in the country. Have a look at the reactions coming in.
If 8 senators and congressmen of America are asking what is happening in India and that why the bail is not being granted to Umar Khalid and others who had been detained, it's going to have a very, very massive global impact. And I do support that what congressmen and senators have asked. It's a denial of their human rights, and bails are rule, not exception. But in case of Dalit, Muslim, or those who are targeted, it becomes exception, not rule.
For more on this, let me go across to my colleague Shefali, who's been tracking all the details. Good morning, Shefali. The charges against Umar Khalid, who was arrested in 2020, are quite serious, but now we're learning that a letter has been written by 8 US lawmakers. Take us through the letter and the war of words that is going on as far as India is concerned.
Yes, as we know that Umar Khalid hearing is continuously going on, and he is in a jail right now for a UAPA that has been put on him. But now eight US lawmakers have written to Indian ambassador at Washington, pressing that New Delhi over continued detention of the activist Umar Khalid, who has spent at least now about 5 years in jail without trial under India's anti-terror law. This is what they are saying. Now, the US has now stepped up into India's internal debate, with Americans lawmaker flagging the arrest of Umar Khalid. They have said the Congress has lashed on backing of the US, now saying, echoing what the US lawmakers are saying, and with that, Udit Raj, the leader of Congress, is also resonating with what the US lawmakers are saying, and now saying that the Muslims and Dalits are the people who are suffering here, and that they should look into this matter, and that he agrees with the contents of the letter of the bail, and it's a human right, and that the human right must be upheld.
All right. Okay. So that is the letter that has been written by 8 US lawmakers. As far as Umar Khalid's jail here in India is concerned. Thanks so much, Shefali, for getting us all those details. Now, shifting our focus, we're learning that not just the US lawmakers, but New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani has also written a letter to Umar Khalid, and in that letter he has written that we are thinking of you. This is a letter that has emerged in that handwritten note which has surfaced on social media. Mamdani reflected on a previous interaction with Khalid and expressed solidarity with him. That letter mentions, and I quote, "Dear Umar, I think of your words on bitterness often and the importance of not letting it consume oneself. It was a pleasure to meet your parents," Mamdani wrote, also adding that we all are thinking about you, is what has been mentioned. And this letter, in fact, now has gone viral on social media. This is a letter that has been written by New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani. For more on this, let me go across to consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary. Srinjoy, this is a letter that has been written by New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and in that letter he has mentioned that we are all thinking about you. He also wrote about meeting the parents of Umar Khalid as well. Take us through the letter and what in fact the reaction has come in from India on this.
Well, first of all, the Umar Khalid issue is an internal matter of India. So if he wants to write a personal letter, that's a completely different issue. But the Umar Khalid issue because he has been arrested for reasons that relate to terrorism is a completely internal security matter. And how would it look if the mayor of New Delhi wrote to anyone in America who has been arrested for rioting or terrorism? He is perfectly, or she is perfectly entitled to write the letter. But the point is that this issue of Umar Khalid relates to an internal national security issue. So if he is writing about, writing to Umar Khalid expressing solidarity, well, that's within the rules. But the question is, how does it look? That is something the mayor himself should consider.
Absolutely, and not just Zoran Mamdani. We're learning that 8 US lawmakers, they have also mentioned as far as bail to Umar Khalid is concerned. So Shinjoy, take us through that letter as well. What does it state?
Well, once again, this is an internal matter for India. So if 8 senators and congressmen have written, that's fine. But this relates to national security, it relates to India's security, it relates to a terrorism charge. This will be dealt by the Indian judicial system, which in 75 years has proven that it works very well. So why should there be any interference?
Absolutely.
If this can be construed as interference in India's internal systems?
Absolutely, this is interference as far as India's internal matters is concerned. One letter that has been written by 8 US lawmakers and another by New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Stay on with us, Shinjoy. We have another breaking update coming in, and